Good morning, students. In continuation with the chapter Control and Coordination, we are today doing a new topic, chemical coordination in animals. In animal body, control and coordination is possible by means of two ways, nervous coordination and chemical coordination. The two systems, they work in a coordinated manner for the proper working of the body. Till now we have done nervous system in which we did that the messages, they travel in our body in the form of electrical impulses and they are very quick, but it is noticed that there are certain limitations in the use of these electrical impulses. Firstly, they will reach to only those parts of the body or the cells that are connected by the nervous tissue, and not each and every cell is in connection with the neuron. And second is that a cell will take some time to reset its mechanism before it generate a new impulse. So there is no wonder that most multicellular organisms use another means of communication between the cells, and this is called as chemical communication. In this, the stimulated cell, they release a chemical which diffuses into the blood, and the cell surround other cell which are surrounding it, it recognizes the information in the form of chemical. Though it is a slower process, but this is able to reach to each and every cell of the body where the nervous connection is there or not there. And these chemicals are known as hormones, which are secreted by the endocrine gland, which is a part of endocrine system. So the two words which we are doing here, hormone, glands. Glands, these are the cells or tissues or the organs which pour out their secretion for performing a particular function. The two type of glands are exocrine and endocrine gland. And exocrine duct glands, endocrine gland are ductless gland which pour their secretion directly into the blood, and their secretions are called as hormones. There are certain characteristics of the hormone. Number one, they are chemical messengers which are proteins in nature. Number two, they are specific in their action. Number three, they release from one place but their place of action is different, and that is called as the target site. They are slow in action but their effect is lifelong. Their deficiency as well as their over secretion both are harmful. Now we will study that these hormones are released from different endocrine glands, and in the picture given here we are showing the different types of endocrine glands which are present in the body. These glands are distributed throughout the body, from brain, in the neck area and in the abdominal area. First of all, we will do first gland, that is hypothalamus. This is present at the base of the brain and is composed of nervous tissue. It is a very crucial part of the brain. It produces the two important hormones, releasing hormone and inhibitory hormone. This hypothalamus is closely attached to pituitary gland. The hormones of hypothalamus, it controls the secretions of the pituitary gland. Pituitary and hypothalamus togetherly important for the homeostasis in the body. And next is pituitary gland. Pituitary, it is a pea-sized gland which is present close to the hypothalamus. The two are attached to each other. Pituitary is also known as the master gland because, as you have already studied, it controls the working of all other glands in the body by producing the stimulating hormone. It also produces another important hormone known as the growth hormone. As the name suggests, growth, it means it controls the growth and development of the human body. But the over and less secretion of the growth hormone, it produces the problem in the body. If excess, called as gigantism, and if less it in the quantity, known as the dwarfism. The next gland is called as thyroid gland. It is the largest endocrine gland. It is butterfly or H-shaped. It is bilobed, present in throat area, attached to trachea below the larynx. It produces one important hormone known as thyroxine. Thyroxine is important for maintaining BMR, basal metabolic rate of body. that is to regulate the carbohydrate, fats and protein metabolism to produce energy so that our body grow properly. But if it is deficient, this hormone is not released in a proper quantity, it leads to certain disorder. This is called as goiter, in which there is an enlargement of thyroid gland that cause swelling in the neck area. It occurs whose diet is deficient in the iodine, because iodine is necessary for the proper working of the thyroid gland. That is why it is advisable to take iodized salt. Next gland is called as pancreas. It lies below the stomach in the curve of duodenum. It is a mixed gland, that is endocrine as well as exocrine. It produces one important hormone known as insulin. Insulin plays a great role in regulating the blood sugar level by allowing the cell membrane to be permeable for glucose from the surrounding areas. If there is a deficiency of insulin there in the body, the cell membrane permeability decreases for glucose and thus glucose level rises, and this condition is known as diabetes, or in layman language you can call it as sugar. For this, doctor provides insulin artificially in the form of injection to the sufferer. The next gland which we will discuss, it is the adrenal gland. Adrenal gland, it is present just above the kidney. It produces one important hormone, adrenaline or epinephrine or emergency hormone or stress hormone, or it is called as 3F hormones. Why emergency? Because it protects the person from emergency situations like stress or danger or excitement, etc. During the condition of stress, adrenaline is released in a large quantity and produces certain changes in the body. First, it increases the rate of heartbeat to supply more oxygen to muscles. Second, it restricts the supply of blood to digestive system and skin and divert it to the skeletal muscles. Number 3, it increases the lung rate or the breathing rate. These effects make us more able to react quickly and vigorously. The next gland is called as the gonads. Gonads, it includes testes and ovaries. Testes in males and ovaries in the female. Under the influence of pituitary gland, it produces sex hormones, testosterone in male and estrogen in females. These hormones are responsible for the development of secondary sexual characters at the time of puberty and also helps to release the gametes, that is sperm in males and the ova in the case of female. We have seen endocrine glands release hormone depending upon the need of organism. If it is important that the hormone should be secreted in a precise quantity, so we need a mechanism through which this can be done, so that the time and the amount of hormone released must be regulated, and this is possible by a mechanism known as feedback mechanism. It can be explained with the help of one example. When we eat carbohydrate rich food, blood sugar level rises. It stimulates the pancreas gland to secrete insulin. The insulin stimulates the target cell to take up extra glucose which is present in the blood, either for respiration to release energy or to store it in the liver as glycogen. In this way, blood glucose level is brought back to normal. If blood glucose level fall below normal, insulin secretion by pancreas decreases